Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I am Deplorable Knitter, and as you can see, I am not joined by Ann Pinkova today. We have Amy, who is not Ann Pinkova, and we also have Neil, who is also not Ann Pinkova. So
Believe it or not.
Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it. Ann is gallivanting.
Yes.
She's not here.
She is living her best life.
Gallivant.
She is, right? I mean, I'm a little bit jelly. But before we start chatting, I have to do the thing that Ann usually does. So look, friends, we're sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can use our code PIK HOTWING for 20% off of your order of $50 or more at chickenladyfiberarts.com. And she has really cool things like this half skein set. Like these are 50-gram skeins of her Let Them Live colorway. And I think I know what I'm going to make with it. I just haven't been able to get around to doing it. So, but yeah, she's got really great colors, really great yarns. Everybody loves Lynn, so. I know, but like, seriously, can we just talk about these colors? Like they are the best.
Perfect 80s for my 80s summer on the lanai mouth. So.
And they're almost two sisters and some yarn colors. Almost.
So what's this 80s summer on the lanai thing we got going on?
We have a lot of mouths, and Neil and Mom and Evan are helping us organize them.
I think we've got 10. I think there's 10 altogether, if you
10.
include Shark Week.
Wow. Okay, well, we'll need a comprehensive list of those because, yeah.
Yeah, well, Mom and Evan is, I have to say, hats off to her. It's a tough job. She's been compiling it all for us, and we're going to put it in Block Magazine, but we're also going to share it in our little groups, you know, so people will see it throughout the year anyway. And we're going to try and keep it up. What's that, Amy?
There's a spreadsheet.
Amy's living her best life over there with her spreadsheet, so we're good.
And I didn't have to make it. It's beautiful.
So as long as there's a spreadsheet, you're pretty happy.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah.
Very good. So what's new, friends? Thanks for coming on. I'm sorry it's a Sunday and not a Saturday, but life was lifing yesterday, so
well,
Amy wouldn't have been able to come.
Amy and I, isn't it? We don't do anything on a Sunday, do we?
Yeah. Well, I was telling Amy, I went to church, and then we went to the flea market, and then we went to the supermarket, and then all of a sudden it was almost time to be on, and I was eating a sandwich like nobody has ever fed me before because, like, if I don't eat now, I'm going to die. So.
It's only going to be an hour, DK. Come on, you can go an hour.
I skipped breakfast, though. I was telling her the only food I had today was cookies at church because my church does a little cookie thing after the service. So you get a cup of coffee and a couple cookies.
That's one way to get people in.
Yeah, but here Iris says, "Big beautiful spreadsheet."
Love a big beautiful spreadsheet.
They have done something to this app, and it's not the same anymore. I don't like it. Okay, so anyway,
sorry,
so what have you guys been up to today? That's okay. Somebody just came in here too. It's party.
I packaged up some stitch stoppers, which you know. If people don't remember.
I wish I used stitch stoppers.
That's cool. I haven't seen those.
I know I wouldn't use them. I'd end up losing them. The cats would end up with them. That's the only problem.
I mean, don't you love your cats? Can't they have some toys?
So Neil, if you need stoppers for your Make Orange Great Again, make along. I'm here for you.
Oh. How do you make them?
Oh,
I don't make them. I buy them. But you tell me how many winners you have. I'll give them stoppers.
Okay.
She'll provide some. Is all she's saying.
But how do you get it to say "Make Orange Great Again"?
Oh no, it's not. It's not.
Oh right. Okay.
No. Just the regular MAGA ones. But
that'd still be good.
I could whatever stoppers people want. I'm in for prizes for your winners. So.
Yeah, it's going to be an expensive make-along for me because we've got knits in white satin as well with Nittler and Traditha. So I've got to come up with a prize for that. So that means 4 prizes I've got to get together. So
I'm down.
Nearly $100. What?
I'm down for stoppers. So throw me in there. Which I'm just saying for those that are doing all the make-alongs, I'm willing to share my idea. Just saying, since Neil and Tabitha have the knits in white satin, and the dates for that goes over where Shark Week would be, right? Or is my plan not going to work?
It definitely goes over Shark Week.
Okay, so my plan was for Shark Week, my project would be all white.
Like a great white.
So I'm going to do my Shark Week project also in the white, so I don't have double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip.
Yep. Yeah, I'll have to get a hold of all the stuff going on. And I was saying right before we started that we've been remiss because we've been doing a baby make along, and I don't think we've talked about it enough, and I think people have forgotten. So it ends next week. It ends
so quick.
But it's super simple. It's any baby thing. It's
so
anything that's for babies. You can donate it to Amy. You can donate to your local pregnancy thing. You can make it for your family, friends, whatever. We don't care. We want you to make baby things. So do that. There's a hashtag. Let me see. There's this April Showers Knit Along 25. April Showers KAL 25. That's what you would use on Instagram, or you can email us at politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com. And yeah, we have like a couple of people who have been putting their entries in, but I think that life got really busy. Anne went gallivanting. I have had some personal stuff happening, and it just wasn't top of priority. But Amy still needs stuff. Amy always needs baby stuff.
I just cleaned up the front room today because my husband was like, "Look, half the floor is covered." I'm like, "I know. However, it's for the babies."
Well, do we not need that in the list as well of make-alongs?
Wait, what?
For the babies, do we not need that in the list of make-alongs as well? Because that's kind of like an ongoing one, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's not an official. Mine's not an official at the moment. I'll probably do another official one in the fall, maybe.
Yeah.
Just to, because we have so many this summer that it went from like there's none, and then like everybody's like, let's do one. Which is
now it's getting to the point where I just might create them every other day just for the fun of it, just.
But I do always
you guys are killing me.
I do always need baby stuff, baby hats, baby blankets, etc. And people, like I said, I haven't really updated that. We've kind of sort of changed how we do things, and I don't send out all the care packages. But if people just feel comfortable sending them straight to me, that's fine. I can get them where they need to go. Because we have two different ways the moms get packages, and I send out some, and then we have a hospital go bag program where they get like a hospital bag, diaper bag, and like goodies and stuff, and then also a baby blanket and stuff, and those go to one person who packs all those bags. So
that's cool.
So
I'm always down to take in the house.
Huh?
Happy birthday, Iris.
Yeah, it's our friend Iris's birthday. And she said her twins are 1 month old today. So happy birthday to everybody.
There's a
God
lot
bless
of May
you.
birthdays.
There are.
Me and you are May birthdays, and then there's a lot.
We're birthday twins.
Oh, how's the kettle coming along?
Oh, I'm enjoying it actually quite a lot.
Oh,
I use it to make ramen a lot because one of my kids really likes that. So it's very nice.
Are you
I've
using
had some
it
tea
for
with
your
it.
Tea? Yes, good.
I don't drink a ton of tea, but I've made tea with it a few times. So yes, yes, it's been good. It's been good. I'm gonna.
I will have to say my electric kettle saved the day this weekend because I am lazy and I use a Keurig for my coffee, and I ran out of the K-cups, and I thought I had a coffee maker that still worked, and I did not. So I was like, crap, need coffee. So I had to get out my French press and get out my grinder and get out my kettle and made bougie French press coffee this weekend. So
it always makes me laugh how you call it a French press because we call them cafetières.
Oh.
Thanks. Yeah, no, they're French press.
It makes coffee. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I have a dual coffee maker, so like I can make pots or I can put the K cups in, but I have a refillable K cup for that thing, which is really handy.
I had that, and it didn't work.
I don't know what that is.
The little
case.
line, the little pokey thing wouldn't line up with it. It wouldn't go in, and I was afraid to break the Keurig and make
yeah,
things
no, you don't
worse.
want to break it.
So
You don't know what is, Neil? A K-cup?
Yeah, and a Keurig. Is it Keurig? Whatever you called it.
Yeah. So it's a coffee maker that we have that just makes 1 cup at a time. So they have these little pods that you put in them.
Oh, we do have them. I don't know what we call them. Probably something really fancy.
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't call them anything fancy.
That's just the brand name. There are other kinds, like there's Nespresso and stuff like that.
We probably just call them coffee pod machines. That's probably what we call them.
I mean, like mine is on a Hamilton Beach coffee maker, and it's just, it has the cups that go on the side, so whatever.
Well,
nobody cares.
I'm going through an Italian espresso phase, you know, the little metal pots that you put on the burner thing. It's nicer than the cafetiere or French press. It really is. And I just put boiling water into it afterwards to make a long coffee with milk in it. I don't have it as an espresso. I don't actually like espresso.
I don't like espresso either, so
yeah, too strong for me. But as a long drink, it's nice.
I want my coffee to like smack me.
No, you know what happened with my coffee today? So I went to the store yesterday and I bought milk. Okay, last night I was eating peanut butter crackers with my husband at like 11 o'clock at night because sometimes we do that, and he had 2 cups of milk. So I am assuming there's nothing wrong with the milk. This morning, one of my kids goes, "Hey, can I have some?" I gave it to him, and they were like, "Something is wrong with this milk." I bought it yesterday. My husband and I said to my husband, "I'm like, you drank 2 cups of it last night." He goes, "I thought it tasted weird at first, but then it didn't." So
and then didn't warn anyone.
But it was brand new. Like I did not expect that. I was annoyed.
Yeah,
because
the worst taste in the world, isn't it?
And so thank God that we have coffee hour at church, because I drank like 3 cups of coffee. Because I didn't have it at home because it's just not as good without the milk. And I know some people don't agree, but I do not like it too strong, and I like it with milk and sugar.
Ooh, just milk, no sugar.
Well, I don't put a ton in. I don't like it being, see, this is the difference. I like it, kind of sweet and subtle. My husband is like, I want you to buy me coffee that comes from countries that are known for their drug trade, because I want the good stuff. He's like, I don't want this like breakfast blend crap that you're getting.
Is he hoping there's some vestiges of drug in the coffee?
No, it's not that. He's just saying if they're known for their drugs, then their coffee is also generally pretty good. So that's how you got to judge it, like he's Colombian and stuff. And so that's what we do.
He's not wrong.
Iris says the peanut butter overpowered the milk. It could be, because peanut butter is such a flavor.
Yeah.
It could be. I love peanut butter.
I love peanut butter too.
But it has to be the kind of pure peanut butter, the one that's 100%, no additives at all, no palm oil or anything like that.
You get that more easily than we do.
Oh, really? I would have thought you'd have got that. Oh, then again, you put palm oil in everything over there, don't you? It's literally in everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
That and corn syrup.
Corn syrup and corn oil.
Mm-hmm.
And number, what is it, E4 or whatever that red 4 is, or whatever the one that
red
we're not
40.
allowed to have.
Red 40, yeah.
They're getting rid of it, though.
Supposedly. We'll see.
I have a crochet problem that I'm hoping one or the other of you will help me with. So I'm making a sweater, and it's self-thinged, whatever the word is. So it's no pattern to it. I've done like a... Oh, how can I explain it? It's wrong side. Which side is it on? It'll help if I go around here, won't it? To create the rise at the back, I don't know whether you can see there. See where the end of the raglan holes are? I just crocheted this bit of the back backwards and forwards. Whereas everything else was done in the round. But what I've ended up, I tried it on last night. The body fits perfectly, but the sleeve, it's really baggy underneath. So obviously I've got too much fabric here. So I've already sort of got the holes done for the armholes. What should I do to get this bagginess out? I mean, how much should I decrease, do you think? Because can you see there where I've done like a triangle kind of gusset there? Do I need to do that, but like really extreme, do you think? Because I'm not sure. I think I'd have to put it on maybe. I'm not doing that though.
Does
I
it
mean,
have a gusset on both sides?
Well, I've not done the other one yet. So the other one is
No,
just
no,
an
no. On the
armhole.
front, on the front and the back of the sleeve, does it have a gusset?
No, just that
Like,
one.
there's
That's
just
like the
one?
armpit. That's the armpit there.
Oh, okay, that's the armpit. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think that
and
you can
that's
make
where
it
we
bigger.
decreased. So more drastic decreases, you think that might work? Because basically,
Yeah.
I've made the armhole too big.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've done. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a way of counteracting that won't look really shit. I mean, I don't mind ripping back the arm that I've done because that I can't remember doing that now, so it's won't be a drama to do that. I'd rather it look right.
Right.
But,
Right.
But crocheting sweaters is so fast.
Mhm.
Because you know how slow I am at knitting anything, and I never
Yeah.
finish my sweaters when I knit them. Whereas this, it's like I reckon one more ball, and I'll have done the bottom bit, and then I'll be ready to redo the sleeves.
Nice.
But I am knitting the collar and the cuffs. I can't stand crochet ribbing. I don't like it.
Mhm.
Never looks good, I don't think.
I don't love it, but I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I wear a really big gray cardigan sometimes that I crocheted with my crochet class.
Mhm.
And because that cardigan is so oversized and stuff, that the crochet ribbing is fine on it because like
Yeah.
it's just flappy anyway. Like it's not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
style, it's not supposed to be like holding on to me. So it's okay.
Yeah, I did.
So
Since I finally finished my sweater idea,
Yes.
the blend, I
Can we
did
talk about it
crochet.
or not?
I did the crochet cuff because I did granny stripes on the arms, so it's kind of dumb to
Mhm.
pick up and knit just for your cuff. You
Right.
know.
You have got to gauge it right as well, haven't you? Because you have to, well, for me, it's different for everyone, but I'm a loose crocheter and a really tight knitter. So
Yeah,
I have to use the same size hook as I would
Yeah,
a needle.
I did start to knit the sleeves, and I was like, it didn't look right because the squares were so much bigger that it
Was
scrunched
it like
it in.
really cinched in?
And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, like forget it. We'll just do knit body and
A bit
like
too balloony.
yeah, I think it's and I think I'm gonna try to explain that if people want to stop, like here with their squares, they could knit their whole sleeve, but I'm not telling you how to do that. You're gonna have to figure this out.
Mhm.
This is gonna be a Gen X Southern Mama recipe that you need to know how to do some stuff and figure some stuff out yourself.
That's fine.
I'm not
I'm with
holding
you
your
on it.
hand. I'm not holding your hand.
Oh, Sherry asked, it's not Tunisian this time, it's just double crochet, American terms, double crochet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to read that, but I was gonna
sorry.
say, is it Tunisian, Neil? Not Tunisian.
Well, it would never be Tunisian anyway. It might be Tunisian.
Oh, I think I got.
What's
Oh,
happened?
I knocked out my deplorable thing.
Oh, I've got one of those.
It's from
Senko
Callius
Farms.
Designs.
Senko Farms sent me one, and I've got to do something with it. It just says blocks, but I don't know where to put it because I haven't really got anywhere that the cats won't knock it off.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
unless you
well-
put it like on that shelf, like one of the shelves with the books behind you, just kind of tuck it there,
Well, I've got the I've got where it's on here somewhere. I can't see it just at the moment, but I've got that little editor-in-chief sign as well that lights up, but I can't put it anywhere because the cats just knock it off.
That's annoying.
Evil. I think when I get my new setup sorted out, if I ever move house, I'll try and do it all for that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get a new setup, and so I'm going to think about where the podcasting area is going to go.
Yeah, because when you just do it, when you don't have that plan, you just do it, don't you? And you don't realize that certain things don't quite work that would look better. Because one of the things I've noticed, I don't know whether you've seen it, is if people have a lot of space behind them, it always looks better.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when you've got a wall directly behind you, it doesn't quite look as good. No idea.
Well, terribly sorry. Everyone just has to be in my bedroom. So.
I mean, I'm in my bedroom too. I'm not in my bed.
We've all been to bed with Amy, haven't we?
I'm not in a nightgown. I just want to let the record show this is not a nightgown. It is 1:30 in the afternoon, but it's hot as balls outside, and I am perimenopausal, so this is what we would call a romper.
A romper.
I have a romper on. It is not a pajama. It is from a handy dandy website. If there's any other ladies that get a little toasty, there's a website called 32 Degrees, and they sell clothes that are like either cool or hot. I'm telling you, good stuff.
Nice.
And they're cheap
and they're
breathable.
Good.
So I am
Maybe
not
I'll
in my
need some.
nightgown. Just, this is not that kind of show. I'm glad that my name takes up some of my chest here, but I am wearing proper clothing. Okay, I am not in my nightgown.
Choose a longer name next time.
I know, right? To get
I
the
mean,
other
it's a pretty long name already. I don't know what she could
cover
do.
up my whole chest right here.
But
But
no,
it's
and
hot
she was saying
as
it's so
balls.
hot there.
Sorry.
And it's 50 here, and it's by now we're usually like into the 70s, and it's been 50 and raining for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so
it's been
like
something like that here today. It's been
Yeah.
blowing a gale as well. We've had like the wind howling through.
Yeah,
and it's
Although
been
I
these
like it.
thunderstorms. Last night it rained so hard that my husband and I were watching TV, and all of a sudden it just like opened up and you could just hear it hit the house, and I'm like, what was that? It was the rain just like bashing down.
I
So
love storms like that. So
Yeah, thunderstorms are brilliant
I love them.
when you're indoors.
Yeah, when you're in,
Yeah.
when you don't have to go out of them. Yeah, when you get stuck in them, no, that's not fun.
When
Yeah,
we
no,
were just
we-
finishing grocery shopping, it
Yeah.
started to pour on us. It opened up, and I'm like, oh, super. Thank you.
Yeah, I have done that. Yeah.
Unless you're absolutely boiling hot and it's a really hot, sweaty day. And
Well,
then
yeah.
it's like
But then it just turns
That's
into
different.
vapor here. It just turns into humidity, so it doesn't really.
Oh no, here I like it. I don't remember it happening lately, but like when I was a kid, it would rain and you could like see the steam coming off the
Steam,
sidewalks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I loved that.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
all
I-
the time here. So
I don't think I've seen it in years.
yeah.
Well, you know,
It's
Oh,
all
global
Amy
warming.
sent me a picture, didn't you, before about those British guys all holding hands around food, saying, it's like, I'm sorry, when I come to America, I am not holding hands with anybody before. No.
Why can't you hold hands?
Why? Why would I want to hold hands with people? What's that
Why-
about?
what-
Okay.
Like
They were
boundaries.
holding hands. They were
Space.
holding. They were holding hands.
Were they
'cause
praying?
They were saying a prayer before their meal, so that's why they were holding hands. It
Well-
wasn't just like we don't just walk around holding hands.
When
I mean,
you're
maybe
all
we do.
praying and worshipping, whatever it is you do, I'll just stand there quietly and respectfully.
That's okay.
I won't partake.
That's okay. We only hold hands as a family at our dinner table. Like
Wow,
we
you
don't-
actually do that. You do
Yeah.
do that.
yeah, but we
Wow.
only do it at home. Like we don't publicly pray in the middle of a restaurant.
Ah, right.
I mean,
It's-
people do that.
People do that.
Some
It's
do.
just we do not. We
Oh my god.
do it privately, quietly in your head.
Wow.
No, at church,
I mean,
we obviously pray, but
right.
you're not. I mean, you're sitting with your family, so like, I mean, I hold my husband's hand, So
Well, you'll probably think I'm really rude, just tucking into my food, but at least I'll be using a knife and fork. So
not
there's
in a
that.
Who
crawfish
doesn't?
boil, you wouldn't be.
I was going to
Not
send
in
you
a
all. There's a guy, this blonde guy. He's like an etiquette expert, and he was showing people how to eat rice with a knife and fork. And
Oh.
like in the UK, we're taught never to scoop food up with the fork.
Right.
And you have to put food on the back of the fork. And he was showing you how to pile the rice onto the back of the fork and put it in your mouth. It's like, even I wouldn't do that. Even, I would scoop it up.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah.
I'm
just
I'm
wanna
not
eat.
huge on like rules and etiquette. Like if your mouth is shut and you're not talking with your mouth full and you are using your silverware to some extent, I'm probably fine.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
your hands.
Yeah.
Although you eat with your hands more than I would, I think.
Well, a lot of our food is for your hands. Like I said,
Like
you're not going to a
chicken
crawfish
wings.
boil. Nobody's giving you a knife and a fork and a crawfish bowl. You're going to pick it up, pinch and suck. So,
So I need to bring my own knife and fork then. Don't I?
I don't know. I was with my mom the other day because I had to take her to the doctor, and then we got breakfast, and she was eating her bacon with a knife and fork, and I would have picked that up with my fingers. She was like
Yeah.
cutting it,
You
and
pick up bacon with your
How do you
fingers.
cut it? It's usually-
freaking
You
usually
cut it with a
crispy.
knife.
It's crispy. How do you?
it's crispy.
You
Pick
still
it up.
cut it.
We're talking about American bacon, not like the things. It's not like
you have the thin
I'm-
bacon, don't
the
you?
strips that get all crispy.
Right. Okay.
I was supposed
See,
to say
we
So-
wouldn't have it as crispy as you, I don't think. We would still have a little bit of chew in it, I think.
No, I think chewy bacon's disgusting. It makes me
Yeah, I
sick.
want crispy. I'm a crispy
My husband
bacon.
and one of my kids like it chewy, so I have to like cook the bacon in batches. I practically burn it for myself and the one kid, and then the other one and my husband, like it touches the pan, and then that's theirs. So
Texas sheep lady, she's saying that the back of the fork is hick where she comes from, and also English bacon is slimy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a guy that I watch on Instagram, and he talks about the different food. That's why I realized that you were talking about different bacon. Because he was comparing them one day. So.
I'm the weirdo that doesn't eat pork bacon, so all I got is turkey bacon. So.
Yeah, this is a bit of a strange conversation to have with you, isn't it?
It works for me, but I still like my turkey bacon crispy.
Although I think I've talked about bacon with you more than anybody else ever.
I know.
So
right?
what's that about?
I don't know.
I tripped Neil out the other day because I sent him the thing about those two British guys, and he's like, "Man, I miss the crushed ice." And I was like, "Wait, do y'all not have crushed ice?"
Oh, are you talking about Jace and Josh too?
Yeah, Josh and Jace. Yeah. But you know how like Sonic and restaurants have the crushed ice?
Mm-hmm.
And Neil
crushed
said
ice is delicious.
And I'm like, oh man.
Well, I thought you were talking about that slushy stuff.
Yeah, no. Well, we have that too, but
yeah. That's about as exciting as our ice gets. Slushies.
Yeah.
How funny.
Well, once of a day, we didn't even have ice. You got a drink in a pub or whatever. You didn't get ice in it. You would.
Everything's like room temperature, right?
Yeah, it used to be. Yeah, it's not so bad now, but it used to be like that. Yeah, the beer was room temperature.
Oh,
I don't like room temperature beer.
Oh no.
Yeah. When I went to Australia, I was really surprised because all the glasses were in refrigerators.
Yeah.
Before they even poured the drink. It's like, what?
That's
I've been in pubs. I used to work in a pub. We would take the glasses out of a hot dishwasher straight out and pour the beer into it at room temperature. You know, that's how bad it was.
So you went to Neil's pub and you got some boiled beer, and that's all you get, and you better not complain.
Yeah, that was the 80s. It's not quite the same now. We have evolved slightly.
Maybe that's why we threw the tea in the harbor. We're like, God, they don't even freaking give us ice.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, so
no, but there's nothing better than a cold. There's nothing better than a cold beer on a hot day.
Yeah. Oh, I learned about this drink that you guys will have heard of, where you mix vinegar with ice and water, and you put ginger in it and molasses in it. And apparently it's supposed to be really thirst quenching on really hot days. And
I've never heard of it.
One of the names for it is ginger.
What?
It's called ginger. It's American.
No, it's not.
Nope. I like how he so confidently said, "We'll know what it is," and I'm like, "I've never heard of this shit."
If I can find it, I'll share it with you.
I mean, I've never had vinegar in
that's
any
it.
drink.
Tina knows.
What? Tea?
The drink
Tina
is called...
knows what it is. Thank you, Tina. You must have seen the same Instagram reel I saw.
Ritual.
I've never.
What the fuck is that?
Well, apparently
I've never.
Lovely. So I was hoping one of you would have known about it.
No, I mean, I've heard of ginger beer, and
it's not that.
Like,
it's not.
And like, you know, you might make like a concoction with like apple cider vinegar and something that if you don't feel good.
I think it's a poor man's lemonade, as you know, lemonade, not like the Brits know lemonade.
Why? What is British lemonade?
Well, your lemonade, isn't it still? It's not fizzy, is it?
No.
Usually it's still. Yeah.
Yeah, our lemonade.
I mean, you can get fizzy sometimes, but not often.
Our lemonade is like your Sprite. Is it called Sprite? So it's like a clear, fizzy, lemony liquid.
So you guys don't take lemons and make them into a drink, like orange juice?
No.
Ever?
No.
Oh man, it's so delicious.
When we get lemons, we just get bitter. We don't. We don't have a positive to our lemons.
No, freaking! A couple of weeks ago, I made my family lemonade. You make a little simple syrup. I squeezed all the lemons. I felt like super strong after that because I had to do like all those canned juicing and yeah. And then everybody drank it in like a day.
American lemonade.
Yes, it's delicious.
What else do I want to try? Brisket.
Okay.
Daiquiri.
Whatever the most American form of brisket is. I'm not sure about daiquiri, although I do want to go through the drive-through daiquiri, just for the sake of driving through daiquiri. What else do I want to eat? Gumbo.
Yeah.
So are you just going to
easy
visit Amy? Is that what
things.
this is?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? Whatever Morgan has in Wisconsin.
Cheese curds?
Cheesy things.
Oh, you need to get like real New York pizza, Chicago pizza and stuff too.
Yeah. Well, we have pizza here. I don't know whether.
Do you?
Really
No, I don't know that you really do.
Do you? Because I don't believe you when you say you have stuff now.
You're the guy who just said that lemonade is like soda, so I don't think I believe that anything. And you have slimy bacon. I mean,
well, if you get good bacon, it's not slimy. Good.
True.
You have to pay for good stuff here. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, here too.
I mean everywhere, but
yeah.
Well, I'm sure with the new trade deal, you might be getting some of our slimy bacon. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to get from each other?
I don't want any slimy bacon. I'm all set, thanks.
Everyone here is panicking that we're going to get chlorinated chickens.
Chlorinated chickens?
Yeah, you chlorinate your chickens, don't you?
What the hell does that mean?
What?
Well, you wash it. You because you don't get the same level of salmonella in your chickens that we do, and the reason for that is that all your, well, say all, a lot of the high production chicken places will wash the carcass in a chlorinated thing, which kills the salmonella germ.
So you guys prefer to have extra salmonella?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that sounds so terrible. Have you ever had salmonella?
Well,
I don't think it's
I'm
good.
not the one that has the problem with this chlorinated thing, because the thing that most people don't know is that all our salad, your ready washed salad in a bag, all of that is chlorinated, but people don't realize and think it's okay in that.
Well,
but
you do realize why they have to do that, right?
To kill all whatever's in it.
But you realize
all the shit on people's
they have
fingers?
to do that, right? They don't. They don't give the workers a break to go to the bathroom while they're picking their lettuces and stuff. Okay, that's why you wash your lettuce.
That's disgusting.
God.
Why don't they get breaks?
So if we go visit to Neil, we're gonna get salmonella chicken and a side of hot beer,
slimy bacon,
and some Sprite lemonade to wash it all down.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, beans on toast.
I think we're just.
Oh God, no! I'm set
for the history and the scenery and the landscape.
And you won't be
and what we're going to eat at McDonald's while we're there?
I'm gonna.
Yeah, and you won't be able to complain because there's no freedom of speech anymore. So you'll be immediately deported or put in prison if you even say anything.
Oh, I'm not coming.
Seeing as we're on politically incorrect knitters, I need to talk about Charlie Kirk for a second and just say how I love that man, and he quite possibly may be the cause of our salvation. He came to the UK and he spoke at the Oxford University and Cambridge University, and he talked about freedom of speech. And then he's come home to America and he's talked about his experience, and he was saying how awful his experience was in terms of freedom of speech and how scared the public are, which is true. And anyway, he's got connections with Donald Trump. And since he's been back, apparently I don't know who, he sent out a fact-finding team of people to the UK to find out exactly what the state of affairs is with our freedom of speech. So something may well happen. What, I don't know, but we know that Trump isn't going to be afraid to say what he thinks, and I think he might put some pressure on our Prime Minister to change things, maybe. Because I think it's really hard to explain to people how bad it actually is. If you talk publicly or anything like this, I have to watch what I say now. Whereas before, you shouldn't have to be like that. You should be able to say whatever the hell you want to.
Right.
Right. I mean,
short of committing a crime.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Short of threats. Yeah.
Yeah, but opinions on things should not be, criminal. So so Charlie Kirk, a big shout out to him. I think he's brilliant for doing that.
Yeah, I was just listening to him before we got on together. He was talking to some college students, and man, some of these people are so dumb, and the way he deals with them, he tells them that they're dumb, but he's nice about it, and he has the fact that he has so much information in his head. I just listen to him and I'm like, how do you know all this stuff? Like, how do you even
And how can it be so fast? Because like I can come up with good answers 2 weeks later.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's
in
all
the middle of the
over by
night
then.
when I'm thinking about it, I think of
Right.
all the things I could have said. But
Why did I say that? Yeah.
My
Yeah.
retort will be 3 to 5 business days later. Like, it's not.
Yeah, you need one of them little progress circle things that the computers have. Just pause the whole conversation while
Like
you
that Seinfeld episode where George we're missing the comebacks, and he.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But no, that's interesting. I love Charlie Kirk. Like I'm still trying to find a Bongino replacement because I haven't found somebody that I listen like every day. I wanted to listen to Bongino and I haven't found that person yet for me. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm struggling with podcasts full stop at the moment. I mean, I watch all of our podcasts, but it's not enough, is it? Because sometimes I know we sometimes have 4-hour podcasts, but you know, they can be quite sporadic, and every now and again there's like a whole, you know, period of time where there's nothing. Looking at you, Amy, two sisters. So I need to find some new ones to watch, but it's like finding non-woke ones is so difficult.
Well,
yeah.
I haven't been listening to knitting podcasts at all, and I haven't been listening to politics at all. I have been.
So really, you should change the title of this from politically incorrect knitters to just incorrect.
Apparently, I'm wrong. Thank you for noticing. No.
Yeah, end of podcast. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. No, but I got into and I've mentioned it with Anne too, that I've been into I've been listening to the Dad Challenge podcast. So I've been listening to like a lot of like anti-family vloggers. I've been listening to a lot of like anti-MLM, anti-influencer stuff, which I'm totally into. And then I fell into this hole a couple of days ago where I found this woman who was telling the stories about like what happened behind beauty brands. Man, the tea that they got in like the beauty space, it's insane. Stuff that people have done. I was never like, she was like, oh, you know, back in the heyday of beauty YouTubing in like 2015, I was not. I had babies at 2015. I didn't know anything was happening. So now I'm like catching up and I'm like, this is fascinating. Like, and I don't know. In my personal life.
Yeah, personal life happens and then you can't really keep up either. And then I can only handle so much of the politics. Like, you guys are my politics information because I just don't want to know a lot of it. Like, it's kind of like nothing I could do about it. Nothing's going to change. I can't do anything about it. I just want to
I'm entering that stage now. I used to be really into it, but I've found that it is really demoralizing here, especially. And I'm learning that sometimes it's better just because I can't do anything about it. So it's better just to let it go and just hope for the best. I suppose.
And I don't mean to be like apathetic or people can't go be involved. But I just, you know, I only have so many hours in the day and most of them are at work, and you know, I don't want to spend. I will say the only like political news that I'll catch sometimes is my husband loves Gutfeld.
Oh yeah.
So I'll watch him because he's freaking hilarious, and I love.
Well, the problem with that show, I don't know whether it's still on, but there's a woman on there, and every time he says something, she laughs, and her laugh irritates the hell out. Is it 5? Was there a group of 5 of them at one point?
Well, that's the 5 is a show.
No, that's the 5.
Right.
But Gutfeld also has his own show.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a Letterman or a
Letterman.
So it's the 5 one that I can't listen to just because of that woman's laugh, which is really ridiculous.
His guests will alternate. Like, he had Kat on there for a long, long time. She was pregnant, and then like found out she had breast cancer all at the same time that she had the baby.
She had the baby, found out
she had breast cancer, so she'll be out for a while. But he has like Tyrus, who is this former heavyweight boxer dude. He's freaking hilarious. Wrestling guy.
WWE, right?
Yeah, and then Kennedy from like MTV days. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how is she? Look, she's more libertarian than anything. But and there's some people on there that are just like, okay, you're not funny, you're stupid, you need to go. But I'm always up for Tyrus and see what he says, silly stuff he says. My husband was telling me something they said the other day, and I can't remember exactly what he said it all was, but it was on face value very racist, quote unquote. But Tyrus was like, I'm just trying to figure out how to say this in a way that's racist, but true,
No.
but won't get us kicked off the air. And I don't remember what it was about, but he was, because he's a black guy and he's like, well, I can say it. So,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was my phone beeping.
But
I do
that's
this
okay.
every time. I forget to turn my phone thingy.
I can only take so much politicking because it's,
Yeah.
although
Well,
I have
and
started to fall down the Reddit rabbit hole, thanks to Neil.
Mhm.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember the days when I didn't understand how Reddit worked. I just couldn't figure it out at the beginning.
Yeah, it is
Whereas
weird.
now it's like, why did I not understand how simple this is? Because it's pretty
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. But if you're
never
not in
seen-
it,
yeah,
it's hard.
it's just a cesspool, isn't it?
I just like
Oh
to
my
see.
God.
Well, it's kind of fun because there's actually some Reddits that are actually just decent. Like there's some music ones that I'm in that I'm like, people just like the guy's music. That's it. There's no drama. There's no politics. There's no nothing. So then Craft Snark, of course, is just to watch and see what stupid things they
Right.
say.
Do you do the bit cheating crafters one as well?
Yeah, I try to watch that.
That one's nuts.
They're just.
But
I'm like,
They're even worse, aren't
they're
they?
so. They don't even see their own hypocrisy because they've had some stuff come up lately that they're like, basically they're saying, well, I just want to knit. Why do we have to have so much drama?
yeah.
Yeah, there was one I
Yeah, go
read
figure.
yesterday
Really?
where I almost thought I'm going to rewrite this, but from our perspective, because it was almost like it applied to us all. And it was just like, we're sick of what they're doing and they're sick of
Right,
what we're
right.
doing. It's like, it's the same thing,
Yep.
And I have a account that's, I had a throwaway account, and then I got banned on that one because I dared to ask questions.
I got banned faster.
You did get banned faster, but I'm newer at Reddit, so I'm
For
kind
two
of proud
words.
of this
For
one.
2 words.
But
2 words.
Yeah.
you were not given mental health resources, so
No.
clearly I was more of a danger than you.
Really?
were.
I missed this whole thing.
They did a whole post about that passionate Kelsey lady, and I watch her every now and then because she'll read crochet drama and yarn drama while she crochets and makes something. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's not. I don't really care. Every now and then I'll watch it. Well,
Right.
they were ragging on her and I think she has an actual business where she crochets and sells things like scrunchies and toys and this and that. So they were ragging on her because she used Hobby Lobby, and she's supposedly bi or queer or whatever words they use now, and so people were like basically raking her over the coals for that, and so I was like, well, hey, what if how about we just don't care? I don't remember what I said, but I was snarky about it, and because some people were like, well, maybe that's all she has available. Some people only have Hobby Lobby and you can't really blame them for that, blah, blah, blah. And then people were dragging up crap from, 20 years ago and da, 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 da. And, and they still believe somehow Hobby Lobby is keeping people from being gay. I don't know. I'm still, trying to figure that out because there's gay people that I know that work in my Hobby Lobby. So I don't know how they're there because clearly it just must not be in my store. I don't know. Maybe they turn their gay off when they clock in. I don't know. But like... So then I forgot what all even I said. I didn't say that much stuff, but I was just kind of like, what's the big deal, y'all? Who cares? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't watch her,
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I maybe like 4, 5, 6 threads or something like that. And then I couldn't comment anymore. And so I got an email which I guess the person just kept reporting me. And that's how I got the email. So I got the email of, oh, they're worried about my mental health. And if here's some mental health resources, da 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 da. And then the next email was, well, you're blocked from Reddit, but you can still, you're blocked from commenting on that.
You can still read it.
But you can still read it. I'm like, wait. So being in this Reddit is bad for my mental health, and I should go check out these resources you sent me. However, I'm still allowed to be in there and read the stuff that's supposedly bad for my mental health.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
they
I
don't
figure.
like is they don't believe in a right to reply. Because my issue with both of them is that they tell lies about me all the time. Literally everything they say is a lie. And I get banned, they'll just say, well, where's your evidence of that? And then they call that sea lioning.
Right.
It's like, well, hang on, you should be able to ask for evidence because otherwise you can just accuse anybody of anything.
Yeah.
What is sea lioning? That's not one I've heard.
Oh, do you not remember when I don't know which channel it was. It must have been on Knit Night where we were all calling each other sea lions and stuff. Because,
Yeah, it wasn't on my show because I missed it.
I don't really understand. I don't think it is asking for evidence, but I think it's if you ask the same question more than
it's a
once.
logical fallacy, and it's, but they like to throw out logical fallacies without knowing which ones they're talking about. They're like, that's a straw man, that's an ad hominem. I'm like, could you define that fallacy, please? Because I don't think you know what it is. You're just making
you
crap
keep
up.
using that word. I don't think you know what it
Iris.
means.
Iris has put, you have the right to agree with them, or you are not to speak.
Yes.
Right.
You're what did we say the other day? Everyone's entitled to my own opinion. My opinion. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still there. They don't know it, but I'm still there.
Yep, same as me. I have about 20 accounts, and everyone is whack-a-mole. I'll just keep coming back. I like to play with them now, though, and they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know who I am, so it's kind of
same.
Oh, we've had a proper question, a crochet question.
Oh,
so from Texas Sheep Lady. How do you crochet in the round without showing where you go up to the next round? Well, there's two ways of doing this.
Yeah.
One is to do it as a spiral. So the way I would do that is in an inconspicuous space where you first start to go in the round, is do a slip stitch, a single crochet, a half double crochet, and then you double, if you're doing double crochet, that is, so that you've got a little slant, and then you can just keep going in the round. Or, how do you explain it? You go through the back of it, don't you? When you're joining, if you're doing it in the round, but a layer at a time, you go through the back of the stitch. So you have to take your hook off the loop, go through the back of the stitch, catch the loop and bring it through to the back. And then it takes the work to the back, and then it hides it when you go around.
Yeah, I'm too lazy. I just let there be a thing.
I'm doing this in a circle, and it's just the way the pattern is. That it's not a circle; it's a square because it's a blanket. But it's just the way the pattern is. It just you just keep going.
Are they in the? Is yours a spiral one?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, like when I do
a moss stitch.
When I do granny squares, I turn every round. So that because some people's grannies will kind of go like that, and kind of get skewed. Yeah. So if it's something like this that I can I just turn every round. So you can't, if there's different colors, you can't tell because the colors are so crazy. But like if it was a striping color, you would see it kind of like, that'd be red, and then that'd be red, because I turned it, So it depends on the colors.
I don't think there's a truly invisible one, is there? But
I mean, I've seen tutorials of them. I just don't care that much to try and figure it out.
It depends what you're making as well.
Yeah, it depends on what I'm making, because for the most part, like if it's a hat or something, like if it's something maybe, especially if it's like a hat, I might put a little tag in it. The tag's gonna be in the back anyway, and that's your cue to, I mean, half the time you give people stuff, they'll wear it inside out. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah, with a hat, if I have a crochet hat, I don't try and hide it because I do like to know where the back of the hat is.
Yeah.
And I look for that before I put it on. But yeah, with this one that I'm making, initially I was doing the raglan was in the round, but in a square, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what I did with this one is I did the chain where these raglan holes are. And then when I came to join it under the arms, that's when I turned it into spiral. Oh, Texas Sheep Lady saying no sound.
I don't know. I can hear everybody, so
I can hear me.
I can hear us.
If everybody can chime in, that'd be super great.
Yeah. Is anybody else having the same problem? Let us know, because it might be you, Texas Sheep Lady.
I have to go out and come back.
Yeah, Shauna says she can hear.
Okay. It's just you, Texas Sheep Lady. You're on
Sorry,
your own.
Friend. And she can't hear us, so she has no idea.
Yeah, we can say anything we like.
Yeah.
Tell her, go out and come back. Leave and come back.
You guys are too much.
So I am actually knitting. I am knitting with The Day the Mediums Died yarn.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
From
let's see.
Tina from Oweneth Yarn and Fiber. I'm making our hats because the mediums are indeed all gone.
Wow.
The mediums are gone. I'm just waiting for the cones to be taken down because they concreted over them. And I will take everyone on a joy ride through Minecraft land of the victory dance across the mediums that are no more. So I am making hats for our petty neighborhood crew for us to wear.
Just to rub it into the other neighbor that wanted.
That's
so
funny.
This winter, We can. It'll probably never snow again, but maybe it'll snow and we can all wear.
Yeah. How big do baby blankets have to be? What's a good size for a baby blanket, Amy?
I think the minimum,
like the length of the baby plus a little bit.
I think the smallest size that I have on our little flyer is 43 inches or 45 inches.
It's not going to make it.
It's over 40. If
there.
it's smaller than that, that's fine because I
How
keep
big is
some
it?
for preemies. So
have you measured it?
It's not for you, Amy. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, then if it's not for preemie,
well, I'm thinking more of like a car seat blanket or something, like a little something.
If it's a lovey or a car seat, 35 to 40 inches. For anything other than the love seat or love seat, a car seat
How big
or a lovey.
Have you measured? Come on, measure it. How big?
I don't know where my measuring. Oh, look, I got one right here. Look at that.
You just don't want to admit how big it is for you. Or how small.
Well, I didn't want to, but it's 20 inches. And I'm already halfway through my second skein, and I don't have any more. But my niece, you could
add to it.
Oh, I'm sure. Because look, it's white and it's just got speckles, pink and yellow and blue and.
Oh God, yeah, just pick one of those colors.
Well, probably pink because my niece was born.
The little like stuffed animals and put it in the middle, and then it's one of those little loveys.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
You know what though? Because of the stitch I'm using, it seems too heavy for that. And she's gonna get a jellyfish.
Is it single?
I think it's a moss stitch. It's a single crochet with a chain in between.
Yeah, that's a thick. That's a thick stitch.
So it's thick. It's nice, but
stretchy, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, that was the thing though. I was gonna try to block it because it does have a lot of stretch in it to make it a little bit less thick.
Yeah.
Because she lives in Miami.
Oh yeah.
So she doesn't really need a warm blanket. It just
She doesn't need a blanket at all, does she? Be honest.
No, because there's a lot of air conditioning down there.
Yes.
It's quite cold. So. And as her aunt, I'm allowed to make her stuff just because I want to. So there's that too. But there's the new baby and then her sister's like almost 3. So I think I'm going to make them both jellyfish.
You could also make that a baby blanket for the big sister's baby doll and make another one for the niece.
Yeah, no, we know that I'm not going to do that, but good try.
Trying to help you out.
Texas Cheaply says it'll be perfect for the car seat. I think I will block it though, because I bet you I can I bet you once I finish the skein and I block it, I can make it be pretty close to the correct size.
Oh, that'll grow really big with that stitch.
It's got a lot of stretch in it. I mean, yeah.
And is it acrylic though?
Yep.
So you could, if you steam the hell out of it on really hot, it'll go drapey anyway, won't it?
Yeah.
I will steam it, and it will
what
be.
Do they call it?
Nice.
Kill it. You need to kill it.
Kill it. Get it.
Yep. But it'll be nice, I think.
I did that,
and I really like
this that I made, and it was the best. Afterwards, it was the nicest thing I've ever made, and it was just cheap acrylic.
Yeah.
But I killed it, and it almost felted. Do you know what I mean? Almost. It became like it. My mum's got it at the moment. Otherwise, I'd show you. I'm all for killing it.
Yeah, I mean,
before anyone cuts us off.
Yeah. Yeah. He means aggressively blocking it with some steam to make it, not acrylic-y.
Humans are harmed in the process of.
Or anything. Nothing that's harmed.
Unless you hurt yourself while you steam it. So.
Right. Which I've done before. You know what? My mom has an industrial steamer from when we used to have a bridal shop. That's what I'll use. I won't even bother like pinning it out. I'll just turn on that steamer. And then you just like put the freaking thing on top of it. And it's so hot that it just like, I didn't accidentally. I used it once to block a hat. And I didn't realize the power of the steamer. And yeah.
Did you just shrivel up?
Pretty much. No, it was just like a big sack. It was a beautiful hat. And then it just turned into this like...
Oh, I was thinking, do you remember when you used to have the old crisp or chip packets, as you would call them, and you used to be able to put them in the oven and then they'd shrink into little badges? Did you never do that?
What?
No.
Yeah, so our crisps, as we would call them, you call them chips, but they used to come in a foil bag, and so it'd have the brand on the front, and you'd stick it in the oven, and they would shrink into mini little things of the brand of the badge, brand of the crisps, and then you could make them into badges. And they were really cute. You could make them into stitch markers if you were doing that. But they've changed whatever they make the bags out.
Kind of like Shrinky Dink. Like we had.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It sounds like he was doing Shrinky Dinks.
Yeah, you're Shrinky Dinking.
So what do you do that with?
Plastic.
It's got a certain kind of plastic, number 7 or something like that. Certain kind of plastic.
There's certain kinds of plastic, and like, because I know I bought them for my kids and stuff. They sell them in kits, and they'll be like this big, and the kid will color it, and then you put it in the oven, and it gets real thick and hard.
See, obviously, we didn't get the proper one. We had to make our own out of what we had, from our rations.
That's funny.
I miss them though, because I used to do it a lot. The smell though used to stink, because it's that paraffin-y kind of smell. I can't think what it is.
Yeah, because you're probably killing your brain cells. But
probably why you liked them so much.
That's why
this is awesome.
Yeah, over there getting high from his chip bags in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need Annie to be here to back me up on it and say, yeah, I remember doing that too.
Chickadee still thinks the Shrinky Dinks are fun. They are fun. I used to do them with my kids.
Fun. I did make some stitch markers out of them one time. It's just a lot of work for me. For other people.
I saw some really cool little mini beans on toast things that someone had made, and I would love some stitch markers made out of those.
Oh, was it that Sucre miniatures? Because she does some amazing.
It could have been, but they weren't stitch markers though, were they? I don't know what they were. They were tiny little.
She does stitch markers and progress keepers and stuff, and hers are. I mean, she does the most intricate. Like, I don't know how she does it. I mean, they're just tiny little stitch markers, but they look like meals.
Oh, you have to tell us. Send me the link to her later, because it sounds.
Okay.
She's not woke though, is she, or is she?
I have no. If she is, she's never said. She's very neutral, which is exactly how it should be.
Exactly.
For most, I wouldn't have any opinions if they didn't force me to have an opinion. So
I agree.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's what you call it. It's every action has an equal and whatever it's called reaction. So we're only political because they were political.
Honestly, I mean, because I'm not political. Like, literally, I'm not.
But everything's political, Amy. Everything is political. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah. But, Neil, when you said earlier that you're kind of getting sick of it and everything's so bad, that's how I felt during Biden. That's how I really didn't. And actually, I was rewatching shows because I was looking for something. And you can see that I was like so disillusioned for like a year. Like, just
we're
over
definitely in your Biden years now. Where we've got 4 years of it to go. And it's like, so I kind of think, well, to get through it, I keep thinking that you guys had to go through that to get what you've got now. Right. So I just think there's bound to be a backlash in this country at some point where people vote the other way. So hopefully it'll all resolve.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, it's just we've got some.
I mean, but you're still going to always have, like, you still have the people, like, you'll see on Reddit, and they're like, stupid anti-vaxxers, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, did you not see the headline where they say they're not going to recommend the COVID vaccine anymore because they fully admit that it causes heart conditions?
Did you see that one on Bitch Eating Crafters where they listed the things why I was a problem, and one of them was anti-vax. So it was anti-vax, anti-something else. And it's like, why is that a problem?
And which is funny is because none of us are anti-vax. We're just pro your choice. We're pro-choice.
Right. But, they're using it as such a political talking point now. A few months ago when they were really into like, oh my God, measles. They were talking about how bad it is. Did you see the clip from the Brady Bunch that was going around? It was like one of the kids got sent home and he's like, oh, I have the measles. And so like they were all just hanging out and like chilling. And I get a couple days off of school. I don't even feel that bad. That's like what the conversation was. Like it was such
we had parties, the parents, if you had chicken pox or the measles or the mumps, you had to go to their house to catch it. So you could get it out.
Get it over with.
That's because people are so blind to actual information. They don't bother to look up any actual information. And it's like, guys, did you really think there were 0 cases of measles every year? No, there's been
Right.
hundreds, sometimes thousands of cases of measles every single solitary year for as long as we've had the vaccine and before.
Right.
It
And,
doesn't go away. And
people,
a major reason why we have more measles cases sometimes is because the illegal immigrants.
yeah, we got a lot of those. But no, and they've got the chickenpox vaccine now, which is cool because it was pretty miserable when I had them, but whatever. So I got shingles though in my 30s because I wasn't. Apparently, what
that's
happens
bad.
is that the kids shed it when they have it, and it helps boost your immunity, which is why people will get shingles in their like late 60s and 70s because they're not around kids shedding the virus. And so because my kids never shed it, I got shingles really early on because I didn't have the immunity. So like,
but don't you have to have had chickenpox initially to have shingles later? Isn't that something?
You have to have the chickenpox
so.
The other way around.
You had to have had chicken. You have to have either had the vaccine or chickenpox to get shingles. But what's happening is my generation all got chickenpox, so we weren't getting shingles, and my generation, we haven't got shingles yet. When once you get to like 55, 60, then you're more at risk for shingles. But Jack DK's generation, you might have got chickenpox, but like right at that cusp of like your kids and my kids, they had the vaccine. So
my kids got the vaccine.
There's this generation where you stopped getting chickenpox and everybody started to get the vaccine, but they found out that you need 2 doses of the vaccine. So there's a whole segment of kids who only got 1 dose of the vaccine. So then they really didn't have immunity from chickenpox. And now they found that you're more likely to get shingles at a younger age if you got the vaccine versus if you actually had chickenpox.
Wow.
And
I mean, I had them as a kid.
How fatal was chickenpox? I mean, how bad was it?
I mean, somebody could die from it, yes, but you had to be immunocompromised, maybe not get treatment, this and that, because it's just a virus. That's what bothers me about all this
surely that it was better how it was, just to let it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that bothers me is they're like, these diseases. I'm like, they're not diseases, they're viruses.
But do you not think it ties in to that feeling? It's
not the same thing.
People now do not feel like they can ever be unhappy as well. Like everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be good. And then if anything bad happens, it's a real drama where it's like, well, you have to have the bad shit happen to appreciate the good shit that comes along. And it's the same with your health, isn't it? You have bad times with your health and then you have good times with your health.
Right.
And you can't, it'd be great if we all lived in a perfect world, but we don't.
Right.
I think that's part of this. It's like parents, I don't know whether you were like this or not, but they panic if their kid is ill with the slightest little thing.
Not me.
I don't
I can't
either.
imagine you were like that, Amy.
I mean, we went through.
I noticed the Gen X parents are like either one of 2 things. They're either put some dirt on it, you're fine, or oh my God, we need to go to the doctor for everything, because we were feral children and nobody gave a rat's ass about what we were doing. So they either compensate for that and try to over helicopter parent, or they're like me and other Gen Xers. It's like, you'll be all right. Are you bleeding, broken, barfing, or on fire? If you're not one of those things, you're fine. Like you'll get better. Obviously you treat things, but no, like.
And you also have to know your kids and you have to judge it. So I have one kid that could have a broken ankle and still be walking around on it and they'll never tell me. And then I have another kid who's like, I was sitting down over there 10 minutes ago and I got a pain in my foot. Right. And I'm like, okay, you're probably all right. So,
is it by age though? Is it the younger one that feels the pain more than the older one?
Oh, the older one is the one that.
Can I tell you what my theory is then? I'm going to be completely off, but I reckon it's because that was your first child. You might have mollycoddled that child a little bit more than you did with the second one. Yeah. Because the second one is the one that gets told to just walk it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But to Amy's point, I was rollerblading when I was about 10 or 11, and I didn't even fall down, but somehow I broke the bone in the side of my foot, and my foot was swollen. And my dad was like, "You're fine. Let's go take a walk." And he made me walk around the block and stuff with this broken bone in my foot. And so I try not to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty chill about stuff. Like, I'm not the mom that's keeping them home. We have some parents now, especially since COVID, that are like, oh, well, they've had a cough.
Right.
Dude, my kid had a cough for like 2 months. If I kept him home, I never would have left my house.
Right.
So, you gotta, but oh, they have a high fever.
Right. Yeah,
One of my
there's
kids
this
gets bad
whole,
headaches. Like, there are things that we
Yeah.
don't go to things for, but
Right.
no.
Yeah, I've got a friend of a friend who I see on Facebook. She's not, well, I know her, but she's not my friend. But like the kids are older now, so it doesn't happen. But every week they were at accident and emergency, or ER, as you would call it, for everything. And it's like, they've just cut the finger,
I think some people do it for the attention themselves.
I think so too.
What's it called? Munchausen's by proxy type thing. Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. But also, like, I know Amy watches the one guy that talks about family vloggers, and there are some that make money off of their kids getting hurt. And so I think that they engineer some of that stuff.
How do they make money off it though? Oh, because it's content, or
they monetize their content, and they've fallen into this niche where that's what people watch them for. Mm-hmm. It's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean, my kids are. I had one that was definitely more than the other one, and he was my oldest. But my mom, I grew up. I was very sickly.
Beat it out of him, didn't you, Amy?
Well, I was very sickly because I didn't know that we didn't know I had celiac disease. I didn't get diagnosed until I was an adult. So now looking back, I'm like, oh, that's why my stomach hurt all the time. Oh, that's why I didn't feel good, and my mom was very like, whatever. She was not a great mom. So I had my friend's mom would be the person that would take care of me. And I had a lot and still have a lot of female issues, which cause a lot of pain and agony. And of course I have boys, so I don't have to worry about that. But I mean, I learned early on that assess it and make sure if it's like serious, like do we need to go, I mean, I had a kid that broke his toe and we patched it up and took care of it. Didn't know it was actually broken. We just thought the toenail was, hurt. And the kid's riding go-karts and going down the water slide. So I'm thinking he's okay. And so they learned, like, they would tell me if they got sick, but I also taught them to, like, walk it off. You're okay. Like, is it really a problem? And then of course school, that's the hard part is they're like, oh, you need a note for this. You need a note for this. You're this many days, blah, 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 blah. So I think that kind of exacerbates it because in our day, if you were sick and you got the flu, you stayed home for a week and watched Price is Right and ate your soup and crackers. If you miss more than 3 days now, you have to go to the doctor and get a doctor's note to go back.
Which doesn't make sense to me.
So that kind of exacerbates it because you don't have a choice but to go to the doctor or your kid's not excused. And they only get like 10 excuses the whole year. But
you can homeschool them.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about what people say about it.
And I didn't worry about that when we were homeschooling, but...
And then it doesn't matter how sick they are, they're still going to do the work.
Well, no, but seriously, sometimes they won't feel good. And I'll be like, how sick are you? Like, is it you don't do anything today and we double up tomorrow? Or can you get through some of it at least?
Right.
And I let them tell me. And sometimes they're like, no, I feel awful. I don't even want to open my eyes. Understandable. Take a day off.
Is your plan with the homeschooling? I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Is your plan to homeschool right through, or at a certain point will they go to?
Oh no, they're never going to school if I can help it.
Oh really?
Yeah, but I mean, like I attend a co-op, and they take care of some of the more difficult subjects. Like I know that the high school kids do like English courses where they have to like learn how to write like persuasive like arguments and different things and defend their point, and they do like the chemistry and the labs and so
there's only
I will
so
farm
much
out some of the stuff
on your own, isn't there?
But my husband actually
go on, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say my husband was a science major, so as things get higher level that I wasn't terribly good at, he will have to help us because that's just what it's going to be. Right. But it's not, I mean, nowadays there's nothing. My older one does their schoolwork online. Sometimes they can't sleep, and so they're up at like 5:30 in the morning. They'll get their laptop, and I'll wake up at like 6 or 7, and they'll be like, "Oh, I just finished school." And they so you know what I mean?
If that was me, I'd just be pretending I'd finished.
So both of them were doing this online thing this year, and my number one kid is the rule follower and was doing it properly. Number two was telling me they were doing it and didn't realize I could go on and look at it and see that they weren't doing it.
So
number two doesn't do it online.
Is going to be bailing out number two when she gets in trouble when she's older.
I was so number two. That was me as a kid. Like, not even thinking that I could get caught. Like, I was really bad at covering my tracks. And like,
see, number one is a lot growing like me.
Up, I know Denise is older, but did you have an elder sibling growing up?
No, like because their dad. I'm my dad's only kid. So they're all my half siblings, and
but were they in the home with you or not? None of them.
No, they were. I mean, the next sibling above me was 8 years older than me, and she didn't live. She lived with her dad. Not.
So I was wondering because I've got an older brother, and obviously I would have done the cheating way through. You know what I mean? And I was just wondering whether it's a second child thing. You know.
See, I don't know. Number one has just got the same temperament as me. Like, don't want to get in trouble. Don't want to. Very concerned. Like,
you don't want to get in trouble. Deplorable knitter. What?
You guys didn't know me when I was a kid, though. Like, I was a rule follower. Like, one of the worst things that could happen
to
in the knitting world.
I was too. I didn't want bad grades. I didn't want to get in trouble.
And I did, like, if anybody like was like, I need to see you after class, I would spend the entire period like crapping my pants. Like, what did I do? Generally, it was never anything because I didn't do anything. But yeah.
I did not lose my give a crap until adulthood. Like, I was very,
me too.
And I'm still like, I am still not like, I'm not a rule breaker. I'm not going to break the law, like, knowingly, you know, I mean, you speed or whatever, you know, little stuff. Oh, I'm going too fast. Whoops. You know, I'm not going to, I will push back where I need to push back, but that's usually because you pushed me first.
Right. And
because I don't want to be, I'm not a doormat. So you're not going to treat me like crap and then me just lay down. So either I'm going to push back or I'm going to kick you out of my life, you know? So that's right. But that did not come until it came after kids when I realized.
That's what I was just going to say.
You know,
because you're the person that needs to do it. You need to make sure that they are protected, and that's your new job. And so that's probably when I started doing it too.
I don't like public speaking. I don't know how the heck I ended up on these podcasts, but I mean, it wasn't until I had kids and I started seeing things that were affecting their life, and that's what made us homeschool, and the education was so crappy. And I was a teacher before, so I mean, obviously I could deal with speaking and I could deal with groups and this and that. But I mean, I went on flipping national television to defend, try to get rid of Common Core. So I mean, I just was like, you know what? Nobody else is doing it. I'm doing it.
Have you got that anywhere?
What?
That clip of you on TV?
I think it's somewhere.
Oh,
I don't know. I know the school board meetings I went to are around somewhere, but one of them was Al Jazeera America, and that channel's not around anymore. So it's not there anymore.
Get that either.
Yeah, and then the PBS, it was PBS NewsHour, and it was so long ago. I doubt they have it anywhere. I'd have to really dig up and see it. I don't think I saved it, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, having kids changes you, and the whole. I think that, I mean, having kids changed me, but also then the narrative about how bad we were for not agreeing with like that just got me to the point where I was like, I can't let people say this stuff. But no, I never did public speaking. God, if people were looking at me, I would turn bright red. Like I remember like my first dance recital.
Myself on here, I always look at y'all because I'm like, I don't want to look at myself.
No, but like my first dance recital, I was terrified and I stood with my back to the audience the whole time because I didn't want them looking at me. So like. Look how far we've come is all.
Well, when you become a teacher, Amy will know this. When you become a teacher, you have to get over that really quickly, don't you?
You do, but my kids were little, and I didn't have to deal with like a huge class.
I had teenagers, and you know where they're commenting about everything, you know, your fat ass or your lump on your back or whatever you've got.
But yeah, I think that growing up, though, too, you realize that people don't think about you the same way you think about yourself. That's a lot of what now that's what I try to tell the kids in my classes. Like, you know, you're worried about yourself, but nobody else is really that worried about you. They're worried about themselves.
Worried about themselves, aren't they?
Yep.
Everybody. Yeah.
everybody that you do tend to do that. You put yourself like, it's like, really, I am thinking about this way more than anybody else is going to think about this.
Yeah.
Even with social media
It's
and the
hard
Reddits
though,
and
isn't
the
it?
snark,
It's hard
you know?
sometimes. Even now, I still have moments like that where I think, oh God, everyone's going to be looking, but it's like they're not. Or if they do look, they're just looking. They're not looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference, isn't there?
Yep. But
Yeah, I used to be like, didn't want to make eye contact. I still have trouble with eye contact. Now I can't see anything because I'm on my glasses, so I have no idea what I'm looking at. So it doesn't matter. I can't make eye contact anyway. But like in public, I used to be. I mean, I was so shy. I was super shy. And I don't know, just something about like as time goes on, and it's kind of like, and it sounds kind of stupid. I hate to use their word of privilege, but I was so not privileged growing up that I didn't dare talk back or push back or whatever, because what did I have to defend myself? I was a dirt poor kid in the country. I had nothing to fight back with. So as I got older and I realized you can still have a voice even if you're not like the pretty one or the cool one or the whatever, and everybody's voice still matters. So you usually don't learn to speak up until you find yourself in a situation where you don't have a choice but to speak up.
I was
That's
probably
that's pretty much
painfully
how we all
shy
got
until I
here.
travelled. When I went abroad and then, on my own and had to talk to people, that's before that, I wouldn't say a word to anybody, so especially if they were older. I was one of those teenagers that could not speak to an adult at all. The type, don't you? I just couldn't do it, couldn't speak to them. Whereas having to travel, having to ask for things and, then you just get over it really quick.
Yeah.
But that is
send
definitely
your shy kids away.
But that's a skill that's going away for kids now, not because they're shy, but because their parents do it all for them. Like that's a thing now that like you don't. I mean, like I'll still see, and my coworker, her daughters are very well raised, very well rounded, have big jobs, went to college. They're grown ups, but they still sometimes be like, "Mom, what do I got to do?" And she's like, you do this, you do this, you do this. And she's like, will you call for me? She's like, no, you graduated college and you are getting married. Go make the phone call yourself.
Oh, it's the other way around now with my mum. I have to do all the phone calls for her because she doesn't want
I do
she's
it for
like
my mom
reverted,
too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're at the point where they're like in college and parents are like, I'm sorry, we didn't get the syllabus. Could you get it? And the professor's already be like, your kid's the student, not you. I'm not giving you the syllabus. Tell your kid to come to me like he's supposed to, and I'll give him the syllabus.
I mean, I make my kids, and I think that that's a bonus of being homeschooled because we're in a group where we have lots of different people of lots of different ages that they have to interact with, which makes them not as timid. But when we go out to restaurants, I make them speak. If they're doing that, I make them speak so that people can understand them. I make them greet people, like the whole like, autonomy, and they shouldn't have to do this, and they should. No, my kid is always going to be polite.
Your kids, I mean, I've met your kids online a couple of times, and it always surprises me, how easy they can talk to a complete stranger. Like at that age, when I was at that age, I'd have just been like,
I couldn't have done it either.
Yeah.
But I think that partially because they see me doing it, it's not so weird because I do this a lot.
Right. But they know that people in your phone or your computer are your friends and they're safe people to talk to. But there's also like, if you just look at kids in public now, it's like, holy moly, like this whole gentle parenting thing, we need to wrap that crap up because it ain't working out. And it's...
I was talking to somebody about that too. I was talking to one of my neighbors about it, about gentle parenting. And I'm like, and I'm saying that as someone who's never had to spank their kids. I have threatened my kids with spanking. I have said, if I get to the number 3, you're going to get a spanking. I've never gotten to the number 3. Like,
oh my God,
because it was enough. The idea of it was enough for them.
Then
but
you have
there's
gentle
nothing...
children. So if you have gentle children, you can gentle parent.
But I don't think it's gentle parenting because there are consequences. One of my kids has been left here more than once because they weren't ready for whatever it was because they're lollygagging about. But
lollygagging, that's a great word.
So you gave them consequences.
And my mom, I've got 2 kids, and so one of them did something bad and the other one didn't, and we were supposed to go somewhere. My mom said, nobody can go. That's what, because I'm talking to her about it. She said, make it so nobody can go. That happened once. You know what I mean? Because there have to be consequences.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I think that you can parent without being go get a switch off the tree.
Yeah, and that's not what I mean when I say gentle parenting. I'm talking about the ones that are like you can't even like even when I was still teaching preschool, and that was the last time that was 2010, I think, and they were telling us we can't say no. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, this child just picked up a block and threw it at another kid's head. Now we're going to talk about it and we're going to discuss why we don't do that to our friends. But the first thing out of my mouth is going to be no.
No, thank you. I like to use no, thank you a lot. Like, nope. But no, it's just this whole.
I don't understand this. My daughter has to do burpees when she's in trouble. What's a burpee? I don't know what that is.
A burpee is an exercise where it's awful. You're my kind of mama. It's I forget the order of operations. You jump down, do a push up, and jump back up and squat or something. I can't remember the order of operations.
Yeah, but it's terrible. Nobody wants to do burpees.
You can tell by looking at me, I've never done one. So
there's a jump and a plank and then back up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an exercise. It's an exercise.
Oh, that would have worked on me as a kid.
Yeah.
Being a lazy kid, that would definitely have worked.
But Amy, you see about that gentle parenting. I saw a reel of somebody whose kid was laying on the floor in the middle of like a Sam's or a Costco type store, and all I could think of was, first off, my kids never did that. Second off, if I had done it, like I had never done it either, because like I said, I was terrified of getting in trouble. But if I had done that, like I would have been wrenched up by my arm so fast, taken out to the car. Like there would have, and people are like, "Oh, he does this all the time." You're doing something wrong if your kid is on the floor of the store all the time. Number one, it's nasty. I mean, number two,
is that a thing that autistic kids do though? Because you know more about that, don't you, Amy? Would that be?
Yeah, but guess what? My kid has autism. He still has it technically. And guess what? When he was a toddler, I dragged his screaming butt out of stores many a times because he was throwing a hissy fit because he did not understand the situation, and you can't explain it to him as easily as a neurotypical child. I mean, that's a buzzword they use, but it's a true thing. But he still had a consequence for it. I still taught him consequences. Right. I had to adjust his consequences and adjust my expectations, but I still had consequences, Yeah,
because I've encountered more grown-up kids that had, I don't know, things like dyslexia. I know that's nothing like what we're talking about now, but their parents brought them up to never read a book because they'd been diagnosed with dyslexia, so they'd never even tried.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I think that's kind of a similar thing, isn't it? There'll be some parents that don't discipline their kids because
I'm not talking about making accommodations for disabilities. I'm not talking about like you need to understand your kid and their personality. I got a kid that still to this day is so ornery and argumentative that I hope one day leads him to run a business and not be in jail. But he is still to this day the kid that I'll say, "Hey, can you go take out the trash?" And as he's getting the bag of trash and walking away, he goes, "No." Just cause. Yeah. But he still does it.
Oh, he's my favorite.
He still does it. But he's going to let you know that he doesn't want to do it, but he's going to go do it. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about accommodating your kids' personalities or needs or disabilities or anything. I'm talking about people that straight up, their kids are their friends first. And because to me, and this is my philosophy, and people can disagree with me, if you've raised them right, and I'm not a perfect parent at all, believe you me, but if you've done your job as a parent when they're a child, then they can be your friend as an adult.
Yeah,
that's when they can be your friend.
No, it's not my job to be their friend now. Like I'm super glad I get along great with my kids and we have a blast together, but it's still like, and they like to mouth off. We are together all the time. And so I'll be like, please go do this. And they'll be like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
As a non-parent, I think if your child hasn't said at some point that they hate you, you haven't done a good job. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think every kid should go through that at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Sounds harsh, doesn't it?
You're not gonna. You argue with your friends. You argue with your family. You're gonna disagree and not get along all the time. And I love my kids, and they love me. Do we want to hang out 24/7? No, they're teenage boys. They do not want to hang out with their 46-year-old mother. However, we all get along just fine, and we go and do things, and
Right.
we're family and this and that. But they're just now to the point where we can be friends, because they're just now to the point where they're adults and almost adults, Well,
but
when
they
were
can't
younger,
be friends really until they're without this. This is going to sound worse than I mean it to, but without them being your equal in terms of having their own home, having a job,
to me, that's when it's full circle.
it's a bad word to use, but I know what I mean.
I know what you mean. When they're still dependent on you, it is hard. That relationship dynamic is still going to always be. You're
always going to be the boss, aren't you? Ultimately. Yeah.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that just straight up don't consequence at all, don't discipline their children at all. Because discipline doesn't have to mean physical violence. That's not what discipline means. It means to instruct. That's what.
Okay. Welcome to our parenting podcast, everybody.
No, but I was gonna say, just this past week, I made tacos, right? I love tacos. It's my favorite food. I don't make them much because the kids don't like them. But the other day I was at the store and I found the shells that are like cheesy. And I'm like, the kids will like these cheesy shells. So I got them and I made them. And I made that and rice and corn. Very like, they like rice, they like corn. They were going to eat a taco whether or not they wanted to. That was my plan. The amount of bitching that happened when they found out that we were having tacos, I finally said, look, this is the meal. I have to cook for us every night. Whether or not, sometimes I make things that I don't like because your dad likes them. Sometimes I make things that I don't really want to eat because you guys like it. Tonight, this is what we're having. And I think you guys need to start cooking because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And everybody was really quiet after that. And then everybody liked the tacos and they wished that because my husband and I only gave them, there were 3 tacos altogether for the 2 kids, and they both wanted a second one. And I'm like, you guys complained so much that nobody thought to save you both 2 because
should have made them fight.
We didn't think you would eat
fight to the death for that.
Fight to the death of the taco. Look, let me
no, we cut it in half and let everybody eat it. But that's
I'm gonna
you know
tell
what
you
I mean?
what I did more than once in their younger years, and this it does become a mom thing that you tend to just keep doing things. You tend to do things even if people aren't doing it. You're like, well, they just didn't do it. I'll just take care of it. So that's a me thing that I didn't make my expectation very clear because I live in a house of men and I need to be very, very clear with what I want them to do. They do not read between the lines. Sorry, Neil. Y'all need very clear instructions. This is what I want you to do. So that's on me. But they would complain and complain and complain and complain. And I'm like, and I know they're complaining, but and to me, it's like, y'all are so freaking privileged. You don't know how privileged you are. Like, I would just be so happy as a kid to have had food to eat. Like, it's just, you don't even know how privileged you are. And it's real privilege, not, like, yeah. So anyway, more than once, I quit. I got in my car and I told my husband, you're on your own. I'm going somewhere. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know when I'll be back. You feed these children, you clean up this mess, and you take care of everything. I quit. I did that more than once, and I did it for a whole week once. Like, I didn't.
That's amazing.
I was like, I made my food. Y'all on your own. Figured. And I'm talking, they were like 8 and 10. I'm not talking they were like teenagers where they really could cook for themselves. They were little. I did that like once or twice. They stopped complaining after that.
Yeah.
It's funny you've said that because I watched something the other day about what was she called? Was it Rita Hayworth? Was it the coat hanger woman? Is it Rita Hayworth?
No, Betty Davis. Is it Betty Davis?
The one that Betty Davis hated. What was she called?
I know you're talking about.
Faye Dunaway played her in Mommy Dearest. I can't remember his name. Somebody kind of analysed her relationship with her daughter, and they were saying because she came from poverty, the actress came from poverty, and her daughter was brought up in Hollywood as a really, privileged kid, that they could never connect. Because they were from so different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Joan Crawford, thank you. That was
there. We go. There we go.
I always get Rita Hayworth and Joan Crawford mixed up. Why? Because they sound nothing alike. I don't know. But I'm just thinking that's kind of a bit like your situation, isn't it? Really, with your kids compared to you are quite.
I will say it's funny because like a month or two ago, my oldest, because I always tried to give them what they needed and a little bit of what they wanted. Not everything they wanted. Because, it's not like until recently we didn't even really have expendable income. But until I started working full time again, then we had expendable income. But we always, we would do without so that they could have whatever if need be, And it wasn't until like maybe a month or two ago, my oldest, who's 19 and a half, and he was like, Mom, because he has like we got his first car. That's the deal. We'll buy your first, but it's like an '06 truck, you know, with a gazillion miles on it. It's not fancy pants. And he goes to a school where a lot of people are rich. And these 16, 17-year-olds are driving around in 2024 Jeeps. I'm like, no, baby, I don't have a new car. You don't need a new car.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, Mom, I'm really glad that you didn't spoil us, that you gave us what we needed. You gave us what we wanted to a point, but we learned that we don't get everything we want. He's like, because I see how my other kids that graduated, like, they're like, what now? You know, Mom and Dad took care of everything. Mom and Dad buy my car. Now I have to go to college. Now I have to get a job. What do I do? You know?
Yep.
And he's like, he could see it and acknowledge it, that, okay, I guess it sucked then that she made me work and she made me pay for my phone when my grades were bad, and she took the door off of my bedroom when I messed up. And but it, you know, worked out in the end, you know. So it does suck sometimes, but you know.
I think that it's important for kids to have an idea of like what something's worth. Like, I don't do it as much now, but when my kids were smaller, they would really want some toy or something they saw on TV. And I generally wouldn't say no. What I would tell them is, okay, so in order for you to have that toy, I will have to go to work for an entire day.
Right.
Is it worth it to you for me to go to work for an entire day, or would you rather us hang out together? And because, you know, I clean, so I don't work every day, but some days I work a lot, or some weeks I work a lot.
Right.
And generally they started to get the hint of like, it's not that's a toy. That's not worth it, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it looks cool or whatever, but they started to understand that it costs stuff to get that toy.
And that lesson, you don't normally learn that lesson until you finally start working. And you know what an hour is worth. You know,
oh man, when my kid got his first paycheck, he was like, what the heck is this? What are they taking all this money out for? And I'm like,
yeah, that's my money.
Sweetie, sorry, that's just how that works. And he's like, what's this Medicare crap? I'm not old. I'm like, that's supposedly for when you are old. And let's hope that it's actually there when you're old. But I really can't promise you that it is. However, since you're a high school, you know, worker, you're going to get pretty much all your taxes back, except for the Social Security, Medicare and stuff. And he's just like, this still sucks.
What was your first hourly pay? Because mine was £1 an hour. That was which is what? Is that $1.25 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
That was my
first pay. Mine was $5.75.
I mean, my real job.
You're younger.
Not babysitting or something.
Yeah,
my first minimum.
Real job.
My minimum wage when I first started working when I was 15, I think was either $3.75 or $4.25. I can't remember. But because I remember when it went up to $4.75, and I was very excited when it went up to $4.75.
I think that it actually was $5.25 when I first started, and then I went to a job where I got extra.
I think it was $4.25 when I started working. It might not.
Were you still see? I was 16 when I first started work, and I was working while I was at school still, and I used to have to work Thursday and Friday evenings and all day Saturday, and like that, and I was rich with that amount of money. So I don't know. It was like 6 hours. It would have been 8 hours. No, what would it have been? 5 plus 6, whatever that is. 11 hours. So I must have got, I don't know, 11 or 12 pound a week. And like, I was rich. I don't think I've ever had as much disposable money ever as I did when I was 16.
And that was what I tried to explain to my kids, because I started working at 15. I dropped out of school at 15 and homeschooled, but back then it wasn't the same, so I still had to get my GED. And I realized when I had to get my GED, I'm like, well, screw it, I'm going to work as much as I can work. And you can only work X amount of hours at 15 because of the labor laws and stuff, but I worked every hour I could until I turned 16. But I walked to my jobs, which I know is, you know, normal for you guys, but not normal for us. Okay. And I walked to my first job, and my first car was like $400 that somebody like basically gave me, that I knew from church, and it didn't go over 35 miles an hour. And like, and I wasn't working for expendable income. I was working so that we could eat. Like I didn't have parents taking care of things. And so that's where my kids started working. I'm like, he realized, I explained that to him, and he's like, man, that's because he didn't start working until he was 17, I think. Because it's hard for them to find jobs these days. Like it really is, because it's the labor laws. So I mean, I have not I've been working since I was 15, other than the time staying home with my kids. And he was very much like, you got paid what? I'm like, yeah, dude, I was excited to have $4.75. Like when McDonald's started paying me $4.75, I was so excited.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
No.
I remember my granddad telling me that his wage at one time was when I was on £1 an hour. I must have been talking about it, and he said, "Oh, that's what I used to get a week."
Yeah.
£1 a
That's
week when he
amazing.
was a young man.
Yeah. Yes, but his house probably cost like $10,000.
Oh no, they tried to get a mortgage back in the day, and it was £500 for a house.
Wow.
I like imagine, and he earned £1 a week, and obviously they couldn't afford it at the time,
Yeah.
so they never bought it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, if only you could go back in time with the
I
amount of
know.
money you've got, you'd be millionaires, wouldn't you?
I know.
But yeah, the good news is my kids will always have a job because I will just take on more house cleaning and then I'll oversee them. They'll be my minions. It'll be great. But
Yeah, that's quite cool, actually, to think, isn't it? It's nice to know that they always will have to do something. They're not going to be. You won't allow them to just sit and do nothing, will you? You
no,
won't,
and I mean, last
And they'll
year,
learn
this
from
time last year, I had them working for me quite a lot because we knew we were going to be going to Universal in the winter.
yeah.
And so that's how I presented it to them. You guys want to buy a lot of things. The trip is going to be very expensive. I want you to earn some money because that way, like one of them really wanted a certain animal from Harry Potter, and one of them was like set on getting a wand. And I'm like, those things are both very expensive. So you need to make sure you have some money,
Right.
so that you can buy those things that you want.
Yeah.
So that when you see something in the store, you can get what you want.
Yep.
And it's
I've
okay. I think that's normal.
I've always made mine do basic chores, not nothing fancy pants, and then when they hit a certain age, they start working outside with dad, and my husband teaches them to do all the stuff with their cars and stuff. And my younger one, he doesn't drive with like alone yet. He's not rushing to it. He needs more practice. But so he doesn't have a job because it's a pain in the butt for them. It's a pain in the butt for them to get a job when they're under 18 because of the labor laws. And then he has to get brought there. So like I haven't tried to push him this summer. I'm like, look, you can have one last summer of doing what you want and taking the trash out and playing video games. And because he gets good grades, and I'm like, senior year, you need to focus on getting as good a grades as you want, because he's the one that actually will probably go to college. So I'm like, I ain't paying for college. So if you don't get the scholarship, you're getting loans. So you need to get really good grades so that you can qualify for the state scholarships that we have, because I'm not paying for it. So I'm not going to push him to get a job because he needs to focus on getting really good grades and, getting good test scores. So and I always said, I'm like, you graduate, you can live here for a while, not indefinitely. Because it is so much harder for them now than it was for us, like astronomically so much harder for young adults now. But if you're not going to college and you just go start to work, then you're going to pay me some rent. Not much, a little something. But you're not going to sit on your butt and play video games and do nothing with your life. You're either going to go to school or you're going to get a job. That's your two options living with me. Take your summer off after you graduate, enjoy some free time. That's fine. That's all fine, well and good. But you're going to be a functioning adult. You're not going to live in my house because y'all are getting out at a certain point. I am looking forward to the empty nest. I know other mothers are like, oh, my babies, don't leave me. I love my babies. They need to go.
More room for the yarn.
Exactly.
I'm not that. I mean, I don't want them to like move. I really don't want them to move far away. I want them to be close enough. I don't want them to like move across the country necessarily. That would suck. But I have enjoyed watching them become men and become adult humans. Like I've enjoyed watching their personality and them become their own, do their own thing, and even when it means rebelling against what I do, that's you're becoming.
How
your own
old were
person.
you both when you left your home and went to live on your own, or with somebody else?
I was
How old?
18.
Yeah, I was 17.
Let's see. I started working at 15. And I lived with my brother and my mom, but my mom was a mess. So I was pretty much on my own, basically from 16, 17. And then I bounced around for a while in college to
Because those ages that the three of us have are like now, people would not want their kids to leave home at that age, would they?
Yeah.
It's kind of inconceivable.
Well,
really.
I wish I had stayed home because I moved out and was with my ex-husband, and it would have been a better day if I hadn't done that. But that's okay.
Learn lessons. You can't, there's value to lessons, whatever they might be.
Actually,
as horrible as they may be.
I would not have met my husband if I didn't marry that guy, because I went to the Red Cross. His dad got cancer and was getting all these blood transfusions. I needed a new job. I went and worked at the Red Cross. I met my husband there. So
yeah,
I probably never would have ended up there if I didn't have that experience.
Yeah, I pretty much bounced around for a while, and then after my mom died, I was literally homeless and just bounced around between friend and family member that I could find a place to stay until my husband and I got engaged, and then he helped pay for rent for the apartment that we were going to live in, because we did not live together before marriage, and but he paid for the apartment for me to live there. So I guess I technically left home at like 18, but
yeah,
but there wasn't much of a home to leave, so it doesn't really count. I had a messed up childhood.
You need to write a book, Amy.
After Denise is dead.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's already planned. You've already written it, haven't you?
No.
Why does she not want to read it?
No, there's stuff. There's stuff she hasn't even told me that I don't think she'll ever tell me that happened to her. So we had a messed up childhood. So very much so.
Yeah.
So did you have the same dad or the same mum? I'm asking personal questions now. Sorry. Same mum.
Same mom. Yeah.
Right. So I'm really nosy. I shouldn't ask these things.
Yeah, because she had those 5. So like I said, the next one was 8 years older than me. So Denise was 18 years older than me. So they were between 18 and 8, when I was born. Everybody thought Denise was my mom, which I keep telling her, I'm like, why do we not use this to our advantage on Mother's Day? Why do we not go out on Mother's Day and get you free stuff? Because everybody thinks you're
right, do it. But
so you and Denise didn't really grow up together then, did you?
Not really, but she literally held me in her arms as they drove home from the hospital. Like, she literally carried me home from the hospital.
That's pretty cool.
But she grew up. She and her husband lived like just down the road from where my mom and dad lived. So I mean, she babysat us. She was always around. But when things went crazy with my mom, we didn't have much time together because for her own mental health, she had to not have a relationship with our mom, and I totally understand and respect that. I 100% understand why she did what she did. So
it's a really interesting thing because, we all have our issues with our own family, and sometimes it's good to. Well, it's not good for you, Amy, but it's good to hear these kind of things because you think, well, I didn't have that. At least I didn't have that. So, but who do you do that with, Amy? Who was worse than you?
There were people that were way worse than me, but that's one thing that bothers me with all these wokies and they're nonstop about the privilege. I'm like, dude, I did not have this privilege you say I have just because my skin is a color. I'm like, we grew up dirt poor on Social Security, had a disabled dad, a mentally ill mom. We had no money. Like, by the end of the month, we were eating like crackers. I'm like, where's my privilege at? Where did my white privilege get me anywhere?
What they say, though, the way they twist this,
I didn't get free college. I didn't get free college.
The privilege you have, this is how, I don't agree with this, but this is what they would say. The privilege that you have is that compared to a black person in exactly the same situation, you didn't have to worry about the color of your skin. That's how they would twist that to say you have
That's
privilege.
so dumb.
That's so
Which
stupid.
is ridiculous, isn't it?
Especially down here when we're a very, very, very mixed population. It's, not at all like some states where there's very, very few black people. Half the people or more around here are black. I mean, half the freaking state was founded by Creole people. Hello, that's black people.
Yep.
The new Pope has some Creole heritage. It looks like it.
Oh, Texas Sheep Lady says, but Amy turned out fine. She obviously doesn't know you very well.
See, that's where my humor comes from, is trauma. If you take the trauma and you turn it into humor, it's way more fun than if you wallow in it like the Wookiees do.
Yeah.
Instead of making it your personality.
But it's like that gallows humor, isn't it? do they call it gallows humor, where you laugh right at and they don't get that at all. They don't understand.
They don't, and that's why I have that. My friend told me it was trauma thinking. I'm like, oh, shut up. I call it worst case scenario thinking, and I've lived my entire life like that. That I think of the worst case scenario in any given situation, and how am I going to deal with it? Who's going to help me? What am I going to happen if it happens?
It's always better than what.
And then I work it all out in my head. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the worst thing never happens. But even if it does, because I mean, it has happened. Parents have died, but I was prepared for what would happen in those cases.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was coming. So instead of being like, oh my God, my entire person, I have to sit and wallow and look, I'm all for wallowing. Sometimes you got to wallow. You got to put on some music and wallow. But get out and get over it and move on with your life. Quit being a victim. You're making yourself a victim. Everybody's a victim of something.
Did you see the GoFundMe thing that I shared the other day?
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand who she was and what she was doing.
Well, I won't say who she is because I can't actually remember, but it's another person in the knitting world who had a business that she claims was successful, but then COVID happened or whatever, the pandemic happened, and obviously it all failed. And now she's trying to raise money so that she can become a consultant, so she can advise people how to have a successful business. And it's like,
that sounds
something doesn't quite add up here.
Yeah,
that sounds super scammy. That sounds super scammy.
But it's free money. Give me free money because I'm sad.
Give me free money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all doing the game wrong. We should all be there with our hands out constantly.
Yeah, because I didn't get that is look. I will call people. I will call people out for that. They're like, oh, you didn't get this because you got this because you're white. Look, baby, no, we didn't get food stamps. We didn't get any of that stuff because we made too much money in Social Security. Like when my mom died and I was in college and I was trying to finish my college degree, I had to take out a loan and Denise gave me money. People gave me money so I could bury the woman, cremate her. Okay, none of that privilege helped me any in college. I didn't get any extra money because I was poor, Meemaw, There's other ways to get extra money for college and stuff that I wouldn't qualify for.
We should rename this Privileged Knitters.
No, we're not renaming anything. Next week I will watch more politics.
Have you ever seen that thing that they'll do, that they'll line people up and they'll say, take one step forward, whatever.
Pisses me off.
I did it with people. I was 15 steps back.
You're in the next state.
I was like, so how am I privileged? Now looking at me, yes, now I'm very privileged right now, but we worked our asses off for what we have. But yes, growing up, no, I was 15 steps behind everybody.
And they always ask the wrong questions, I think, in those. It's always loaded questions that are aimed at making sure that it's the people who are black or gay or whatever that, are the ones that stay at the back. They don't ask questions that are pertinent more to everybody.
Right.
Yeah, they asked some though. It was were your parents separated? Did you whatever? Did you have this assistance? Did you go to college? Blah, blah, blah. But there are nuances to that. Yes, I went to college, but I paid for it myself. I took out loans and I worked. Your
parents are still together but hate each other, and you live in a really toxic environment. It could be anything, can it? It can be twisted to be anything.
It could be very loaded. So
yeah,
I know DK is trying to tell us to go. So
you should know. Amy and I will just keep going and going.
It's not that I don't love you guys, but it's almost 2 hours, and
it's time to move out of this house. You've been freeloading for too long.
Us freeloaders need to go.
You too. You're too funny. No, I'm so glad that you guys were able to come, because Anne got too busy for me. I don't know, being out and about in the world. She's like, oh, I'm going to be sightseeing. I know, me too. But
she doesn't know this yet, but I was planning to meet her, but unfortunately I can't. And I almost booked a flight, forgetting that my mum's in hospital on I won't say which day, but on a certain day. And I've actually got to be around to ferry her around and stuff like that. And it's like, shit, good job I remembered.
Well, yeah, at least you didn't waste your money. That would have sucked.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
But
I need to tell her. I've not told her yet, but she'll probably be relieved, to be honest. She's probably thinking, oh, God, I'm going to have to sit with Neil all day.
No, I'm sure she would have liked to meet you. But all right, guys, thanks for coming. We're sponsored by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can use the code PIK
Get some
Hotline
stitch
to get
stoppers.
20% off of your order of 20% of $50 or more. 20% off of your order of $50 or more at chickenladyfiberarts.com. Check out Amy, Two Sisters and Some Yarn, pro-life knitter.
Yep.
She's on Knit Night a lot.
Yep.
Oh, I'm interviewing Marie Buskey on Thursday
Oh,
on
cool.
the magazine
Ooh.
channel. So
Very
don't miss
good.
that.
That'll be super fun. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming. We will
Thank
see
you.
you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.